This is my 2014 four-door JK Rubicon. We actually custom ordered this Jeep. I knew I wanted the Rubicon with the Dana 44 axles, the locking diff front and rear, sway bar disconnects, everything you get with the Rubicon. And I did not want leather because we do a lot of Southern Utah Jeeping, and I didn't want the extra swass from the leather. So custom ordered it, came in, and we absolutely loved it. I think within the first month, I put the lift on, Teraflex 3.5 inch suspension, and I put on 35 inch tires. And so we rolled it like that for several years. One of the first things that I did was these flat fenders. Just gave way more clearance, even with just a 35 on the JK. The way that the stock fenders are built, I was rubbing all the time. I mean, it's been 10 years of upgrading, so I'm gonna kind of just hit some high level things that we've done. And just about everything I've done to this Jeep was out of necessity. I'd break something, like the front plastic cheap bumpers that come on these. But I tore the crap out of that bumper within the first year. So I was shopping for a heavy duty steel bumper. I like this one. I've got the D-ring hooks on it. It's got the high lift jack hooks, which is what these are right here. I've got LED replacement fog lights. This is a Smitty belt, and this is actually, these rub plates are actually replaceable. Got a Smitty built 10,000 pound winch, some LED lights. Everything on this Jeep is LED now, including my smoked fog lights, headlights, even my marker lights. Everything on it is LED. So I am probably gonna get some hate for this, but I'm actually running my original stock Dana 44 axles, front and rear. I ripped off the front and rear diff cover plates. So I upgraded those to the heavy duty ARB diff plates, which there's YouTube videos, people shooting those things with a 44 Magnum, and they don't penetrate it. So I've definitely taken some big hits on those. I really like those because they have a magnetic plug at the bottom. So if you do spin some gears or chew something up, it actually collects the excess metal. Of course, everything interior, exterior of the axle has been upgraded. They're trussed front and rear. I've got chromoly axle shafts front and rear. I've upgraded the Teraflex heavy duty drag link, and sway bars are extended, but all my front suspension is upgraded to Teraflex heavy duty. Factor 55, I've played around with a couple of my winch connection points. That's currently the one I have on there. I've had a hook, I had just a ball, but this one seems to work pretty good with soft shackle recovery. On my hard top, I actually have 4 light bars that are permanently mounted to a cargo rack that I built. So I think it's a 52 inch front, 20 inch rear, and 10 inch both side light bars on my hard top. And running all that, I've got an S-Pod controller under the hood that runs all the LEDs, and a switch panel on the interior that everything is really easily controlled. But when I first did that, when I first ran all this stuff and it wasn't LED, we'd be down in Moab on a night trail, an hour and a half, 2 hours into the trail, and all my lights would die, and found that I was overheating that system. And so upgraded the relay fuse a little heavier, and also went with the Poison Spider hood louver. And so that allows for a lot of the engine heat to escape and cold air to come in as you're driving. I've got the factory rock rails. A lot of people are gonna hate on those, but I've taken some massive hits on these things. And I like them because they're pretty tucked in. They're pretty low profile. I may or may not upgrade those in the future, but so far they've done a great job. I eventually upgraded to the Teraflex long arm kit, and that just remounts all of the factory points, all of the geometry from the factory setup. The only negative thing on my long arm kit is the rear bracket arm. When I do hang up on rocks, 90% of the time it's because of that bracket. Got a Teraflex rear bumper mount for the spare tire that comes with the high lift jack mount with the CB radio antenna mount. I've actually had a 40-inch spare on that Teraflex tire mount, and it's super solid. This is a Teraflex steel rear bumper, and it's got the cutout for the bigger tire. It's got a toe point, rear D-ring points, soft shackle points. I really like the taper of it for rock crawling, just sliding down rocks or whatever. It's taken some really big hits and does really good. My rear tail lights are also LED. These are like the third set that I've had. These are kind of a smoked set that I like. Moab sucks, tell your friends. With the Falcon shocks, the rear Falcon shocks, they actually come with a rock guard, that bottom plate that mounts to the bracket of the axle, and just protects the bottom of the shock there that has a little bit of exposure. And so I've bent the crap out of those on rocks, so highly worth the investment to get those rock guards for the Falcon shocks. Probably the biggest upgrade I did was the Teraflex full float axle conversion. So a lot of guys see my Jeep and think I've got 1 tons because I've got 8 lugs, front and rear. This Jeep has been a grocery getter, daily driver up until about 2 years ago. I have a set of beadlock wheels, 8 lug on a set of 40-inch tires, but I only put those on when I'm gonna trailer it down to Moab or Sound Hollow, and it does great. And then with the front axle, it switches it to a manual locking hub. It's way stronger. Basically from the stub shaft out, it is 1 ton. It also comes with, one of the best things I've done also on here is the big brake kit. So it's a 1 ton caliber, 1 ton disc, and it just has awesome stopping power. I've done trails before and after with this brake kit, and before on these 37s, just kind of sliding down obstacles, where now on my 40s I can do the same obstacle and I can just stop right in the middle of it and just stick there. So the big brakes are a must running 40s. And then most recently I did the PSC hydraulic steering. Running 40s, it's just a total game changer. And so now with that PSC, fully locked up, 4 low, twisted up in the rocks, I can basically turn the wheel with 1 finger with that PSC. So it has been a game changer for me. Off-road, tight spots, it's been awesome. I've done quite a bit of stuff under the hood on this. It is still the factory block, but I've done quite a bit of upgrades. Everything else but the block under the hood that you can do. But yeah, it's been awesome. We've loved this Jeep. We've been wheeling it for 10 years. We just hit 100,000 miles. Like I said, it was a daily driver. It was the wife's grocery getter all through the week, and then the family Jeep on the weekends. The paint code, this is a Mopar paint code. It's Copperhead is the name of it. Like I said, my wife picked it out. We love the copper color, and it actually changes colors quite a bit. Depending on the lighting, it'll look orange sometimes, it looks red sometimes. But my daughter, shout out to Aspen, nicknamed it Copper. So early on, we set up its own hashtag Copper the Jeep. So you can check that out on our posts and see kind of some of the adventures that we've been on in Copper over the past 10 years.